What's up YouTube? It's your boy Dashing here, and we are I'm announcing actually we are part of the TPL Season 2 Draft League. So as you know, I am one of the admins for this league, and I am joining this league for this season with my teammates from the last season, Alex and Ricky. This time I'm going to be coach number 1, so I will be playing against coach 1 of each respective teams. And to give you some insight about this season, it's very similar to the last season. If anything, we did move a lot of mons around in terms of the tier list, because we are making it in somewhat very similar to Smogon, wherein tier changes depending on how players use it. Like if a mon is being used too much or is getting drafted and is seeing a lot of success, we would be like raising the tier. And if a mon is not getting picked or is getting picked but is really having poor performance as we determine, it's not gonna be straightforward, because it also, part of it is from the player, but there is some subjective insight we have wherein we can lower this. Like it's not gonna be broken if we lower this to this tier and whatnot. But generally, a lot of the tiers were raised up. A lot of mons got raised a tier, so it's gonna be a lot harder to make teams, to make strong teams, because it's gonna be impossible. The teams you made last season, you won't be able to make those because everything got high in price, and we didn't really increase the allowance either. So you're basically gonna see generally weaker team potentials, but it's gonna seem a bit more balanced because you won't really have access to like uber teams. But anyway, I'll show you guys the tiers we have here. So it's exactly the same as last season. We have 1 tier 1, 1 tier 2, 2 tier 3s, 1 tier 4/5, and 5 months for the points pick. Now it's also the same in the sense that we have 100 points. You can use 2 to 3 points to have a max mon. I am actually trying to get them to remove the max feature, because although the concept of adding the max was to bridge the gap between tier 3 and the uber, because this is an uber league, it still feels somewhat uncompetitive. But that's something we'll have to explore. Maybe next season we'll try to see. But the new thing we're incorporating this season is we do have a shared mon pick. So for the shared pick, it's gonna be part of the point system. You pick a mon, and depending on which mon you pick, it's gonna be drafted by each of the coaches in your team. So like if we draft Mewtwo, my teammates Alex and Ricky will also have Mewtwo. So it's a way to like recognize your team, like in our case Alliance, that Alliance is the Mewtwo stack, right? That's how you would like refer to them, because everyone has a Mewtwo if that's the case. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting what the other players drafted for their shared picks. It's definitely a concept that's only used in our league. No other league is doing this innovation, and we're gonna see if so far I believe a lot of people like this concept. We'll have to wait till the end of the season if that's still the case, or they want to go back to just solo picks. But in any sense, I really wanted to get Celesteela as my first round draft pick, because Celesteela is currently in tier 2, and I felt confident I could snack it up relatively. I was relatively confident I could get it, because most of the people or the players are gonna get tier 1 picks first. But unfortunately, I was sniped. Like literally, the player before me picked it up. So unfortunate. And I just went with Aegislash. Aegislash, another great steel type, only weak to, I guess, dark fire, ground ghost. That's actually 4, but if you think about it, it's immune to normal fighting and poison, which are really good types to be immune to. One thing about that is we are allowing moves like return in this league, so normal types get a really big buff for that, and it still doesn't matter for AG. The downside is we are also allowing pursuit, so AG is definitely vulnerable to that. So it's not exactly a great pick, but it's still definitely good enough because it can fit multiple roles. It was actually Uber in the last gen, but this gen it's just tier 2. Part of it was because in the traditional sense of the league or the meta, pursuit is banned, but in our league it's allowed. And because they significantly dropped the stats by 10, so blade and the shield form are -10. So that's basically AG. It can function as a reliable defensive pivot, smack something hard in either the physical or the special side. So that's my first pick. My second pick here, I really wanted to get a Maxmon that's really good. And since I was pushing everyone to ban Smash Max, basically that's a combination of Shell Smash and then maxing your Mon, which I believe is completely broken. Like, I rather fight a player with 3 Ubers than 1 Uber and the Smash Max Mon. Because the Smash Max, that could literally just win. If you don't have the right team, it could just run over you. And that's... I was fortunate enough last season that the player with the Smash Max, I had a good matchup versus him, so it didn't look OP, but against a good player using it, definitely can make it look like it's busted as fuck, because it really is. I was looking to get Blastoise, but unfortunately I got sniped again there. And I ended up getting Heracross. Heracross will be our designated Maxmon. This one really has potential because we can get the Guts boost for it if we go Flame Orb. And that will allow us to... We are gonna get some chip for that, but that's fine. We can basically attack a lot harder. It's gonna be... It's gonna... Imagine like Durant, but I guess it's not stronger than Durant because Durant can have Life Orb, and if you're already using Guts, you know, it cancels out like the hustle of Durant, but he has a little more. It's gonna be a little weaker than Durant, but you have a lot, your coverage moves are a lot better than Durant. And although you do have 4 times weakness to flying, not many mons like to have flying coverage, although it's very good offensively. At least this mon, if they have like a flying move, you can use like a berry to resist that. But Durant is the type of mon, using it, like me personally, I was using it last season, it would die to fire moves even with an Oka berry. So if you max it, you have an Oka berry, and if you get hit like by a stab fire move, you're still gonna go down. So that's a difference I really wanted this season. I didn't want to use a Maxmon that can just get KO'd by, you know, something random. So we have Heracross for that. Decent stats too, fairly bulky. We can also go Moxie, which is, I guess, what mostly I'm gonna be using, but I could use Guts as well. I don't see a situation where I'm gonna go Swarm though. So yeah. For my third pick, I noticed a lot of people already picked their tier 1s, and I was afraid for the other players that didn't pick their tier 1s yet, they might pick this mon that I was eyeing. So I ended up getting Torn-T. Torn-T is an amazing mon, one of the best mons in the format. So I was really surprised that it's already the third round in the picks and it still hasn't been picked. Very surprised by that. It just tells me a lot of the players here don't know how to use this mon, or they've already used it like in other leagues and they're kinda sick of it. Because Torn-T can do it all. Like, in the previous gen, it was really top tier, but if anything, it lacked the potential to wall break. But now that it has Nasty Plot, he already has that potential now. +2 Hurricanes will break any wall. Like even Metagross, a very bulky mon, can take too many Hurricanes, or even a +2 Heatwave will KO that mon. I think so. I didn't really run the calc, but somewhat confident in that. And it has one of the best abilities in the game in Regenerator. So yep, that's our third pick. Now for our fourth pick here, looking at my team, I do have 2 mons weak to fire, and also Torn-T is weak to electric. So I wanted to get like a ground mon that can cover the weaknesses. So I ended up getting Seismitoad. Seismitoad is an amazing mon. I drafted it last season. Funnily enough, it was my 4th pick last season as well. A lot of people a lot of players are sleeping on this mon. It's an absolute beast. It covers the weakness of the fire weakness of Aegislash and Heracross, as well as the electric weakness of Torn-T. So this is looking like a really good core here, because if you look at it, Toad is only weak to grass, and the 3 mons I have here resist grass, right? So that's really good for us. You already know what this mon does. Sets rocks, goes for Scald. He has Poison Touch to, do some knockoffs. It's a knockoffer. You can knock off and get like poison there. Very good mon. Now for my last pick here, I was looking at the tier 4s and 5s, trying to look for a mon that has really good value. And I ended up getting Audino. Audino is a pretty decent mon. It will be our designated clerk. It can pass Swish. It has Heal Bell, Knockoff, Yawn. Yawn is really good in this format. If someone maxes, you can just yawn them and like, okay, what am I gonna do? Am I just gonna prematurely end my max, or is my mon going to sleep? And if your mon goes to sleep against my team, look at this team. Heracross can bulk up. I'm not sure if it gets SD, maybe it does, but it can bulk up. Torn-T can Nasty Plot. Aegislash can SD. So you don't want to do that. And it gets Regenerator as well. So I have 2 mons with Regenerator, and one of them is not. They don't really share weaknesses. If anything, Torn-T and Aegislash and Heracross like check the weakness or resist the fighting weakness of Audino. So, and I guess Audino covers like the ghost weakness of Aegislash. So they kind of cover each other's weaknesses pretty well. Now, here's the thing. Before we started, we kind of wanted to get Archeops as our shared mon. We kind of decided that that's it because it's like 17 points. And I kind of planned to get like 2 Uber mons for that. But later on, we decided to get Quagsire instead, which is 18 points. And unfortunately, because of that, I won't be able to get what I want this season. So I was really pissed about that. It was such a... I mean, Quag is a really good mon, but I really wanted to I really wanted a heads up on this one. You know, don't just tell me last minute that this is what we're gonna get. And I totally understand why we're getting it. Unaware. An unaware mon in this format is really good. Quag can check most of the Ubers in the format, as well as a good majority of the max mons. So it really does have amazing value as a mon, and for each of our players to have this mon, I can see the value there. It's one of the best options there. Though the unfortunate part about that is I already drafted Seismitoad. So at this point, by the end of the draft, I already know that I'm gonna have to trade Seismitoad out, because there's no point sharing dual types if the only difference is, like, you know, setting up rocks. I might as well just get another rocker. So that being said, we have Quag here. It's basically, its role is just to be tanky, annoying, stop potential sweeps, and, you know, hopefully get back momentum if we lose it. Water Absorb, Unaware. Mostly we're gonna use Unaware. We're rarely gonna use Water Absorb, if any at all. Now, our next mon here is someone I've been wanting to try out. I kind of wanted to get this last season, but I believe I got sniped, and that's gonna be Kyurem-Black. Dude, the Black Ballista himself. Look at how huge it is. Like, I had to make the picture so small because the dude is so huge. Look at those stats. 125 HP, 90 speed def, 100 def. Like, this one is so fat. It's so underrated. Its thickness is so underrated. Like, yeah, you're weak to... What are you weak to? You're weak to fighting rock. Fighting rock fairy. And dragon. Fighting rock fairy dragon. But you do have two of the best offensive typings in dragon and ice, right? And in this gen, Kyurem does get scale shot and DD. So do DD potential in Kyurem with the ability Terravolt, that could really fuck shit up. Like, if they have an unaware mon like Pyukumuku, dude, Pyukumuku probably gets one hit KO from a +1 fusion ball. I haven't calculated it, but I feel really confident about that, because, you know, Terravolt is gonna ignore the unaware. So we got Kyurem-Black. It also gets freeze dry this gen. We can run it physical and special, or just bulky tank. So yep, an amazing one. I definitely promote this one. Encourage players to try it out in other leagues or next season. Our next one here, I decided to get Slowking. Now, if you look at the team right here, we do have 3 water mons already. So grass is looking really good, but if you take another look closer, Tornadus-T, Aegislash, Heracross, and Kyurem all resist grass. So it's not that bad. Not to mention we are trading Toad, so it's just Quag and Slowking that's weak. Although Slowking is also gonna be weak to Electric, Dark, and Ghost. As much as that sucks, it does provide very good utility in the form of teleport. Gains us momentum, and this team really thrives in momentum. Stats are amazing. Another regenerator mon. So this team is really thick if you come to think about it. We have Quag with Unaware. We have Tornadus-T that can be relatively bulky with Regenerator. We have Aegislash. When it's in shield form, stupid stats. We have Kyurem-Black, probably one of the best bulk in the whole game. And we have Slowking, another bulky one with Regenerator. Like, it's gonna be really hard to break through this team, I think. I mean, yeah, because actually the reason I got Audino was also because of its normal typing, because I was really scared of a potential Spectre just shadow balling my team and, you know, to Kingdom Come. But yeah. You already know what this mon does. He teleports, he throws future sight, scalds, could recover, could set up, could also run something like Trick Room. Trick Room in conjunction with Aegislash could be good. So yeah. Our next one here, we are running low on points because if you see from 100, we already have 18, 25, 21. So we only have like 15 points or somewhat or around that left. Well, not really, but you get what I mean. Our next pick is Ferroseed. Ferroseed, an amazing one. It gets rocks, spikes. If you look at it in Gen 5, it keeps spinning in his icon. So I always thought that this was a rapid spinner, but apparently not. Benefits greatly from Eviolite. So we're probably going to be running Eviolite every week on this one if we decide to bring it. And yeah, it's also a resist to electric, right? Because we're kind of somewhat vulnerable to electric. We only have one immunity, but we have a couple of electric resist. So it kind of helps in that sense. We don't really have, there's no really certain typing that really hits us hard for a good majority of our mons. We have a lot of mons that resist every typing there is, basically. This is weak to fire. We have Slowking, Quagsire. Yeah, those are like the resists, fire resist. So yeah, that's basically, its role is just basically to, you know, maybe thunder wave something, toxic something, set hazards and all that. Very good value mon. And one of the reason I picked this at this point was I noticed a lot of players had low points left and they were looking for like 15 point mons because that's the only points they have left. And I saw Ferroseed as a it acted as a block pick. I didn't want them to have this good mon, so they were forced to get like worse mons. It acted as a good pick and a block pick at the same time. And not last but not least is Dragalge. Dragalge is an amazing mon in this team. It acts as our grounded poison type. We don't have a poison type yet here, so it's good that we have a dragon. Dragon defensively is one of the best typings that is not weak to fairy. And with that much SPDEF on its stats, it can take some ice beams, if that's the case. Oh, sorry, I didn't get to change the ability from Magician. Sorry about that. But yeah, it gets adaptability, and that's supposed to like increase the stab moves become times 2 instead of 1.5. It also gets T-Spike, so that's something the opponent needs to be aware of. The only downside from this team so far is we only have one rocker. That's a big downside. And that it kind of sucks that Quagsire doesn't get rocks, or the other mons I have here don't get rocks. Actually, Heracross does get spikes, but since that's our designated max mon, I don't feel like I'll be using that. Maybe I would, but I don't know. I really don't know about that. We'll see. We'll just have to see. This mon is also another mon that gets pivot. We have a few mons, only a few mons that get pivot in Tornadus-T, Dragalge, and Slowking. So not much pivot here in this team. And I might as well tell you guys as well, since I said earlier, we are planning to trade Seismitoad. So I'll show you my week 2 team. So this is gonna be effective week 2. I dropped Seismitoad for Sylveon. Sylveon just really completes the team here. We have our Fairy Dragon Steel Core. It takes a lot of pressure out of Aegislash to check like fairy moves, and even though it doesn't check fairy moves as far as a resist is concerned, the HP and SPDF of this mon really it's really hard to break through. Special attacks, it's gonna be hard to break through this mon. Gets pixelate, we can get some hyper voices there. Unfortunately, baton pass is banned, so even non-boosted baton pass, we cannot use that. So it would have been a good option to, you know, have a reliable pivot, but we're just gonna have to hope for hard switch. Also acts as a clerk in certain games where Audino would be a bad matchup, maybe as a fighting resist. Actually, this mon is really good against Megalop, because Megalop can beat Aegislash with high jump kick, and, you know, Kyurem as well. It's gonna struggle with Slowking, but, you know, with enough chip it can. But it doesn't have a free matchup versus Sylveon, because Sylveon can just take returns decently well and resist high jump kick. So yep, that's basically the team. Really excited for this season. Unfortunately, my week 1 opponent has the Blastoise with the Smash Max. So I hope I'll be able to win that one, but, you know, Smash Max is so broken. My only advantage is I've played against Smash Max before and I won, so hopefully that experience gives me some creativity to deal with that. And that's going to be the draft. If you like the content, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers!